Yeah. They say people don't change, but sometimes the person you were had to die so the person you're meant to be could breathe.
I was trapped in a version of me I outgrew, living life like a cage with invisible screws. Had to break every mirror that lied to my face just to build who I am from the fire and truth. I done died in the dark, then revived in the light. Every scar like a map of the wars that I fight. This ain't luck to survive or the price of my growth. Watch a man turn his pain to a metamorphosis. Yeah. I remember depression was pressing a weapon to temples. Obsessive reflections were messing with mental potential. Every second felt like I was stepping through levels of hell where the devil was yelling but dressed as a friend with credentials. Self-sabotage was embedded inside of the dialogue. Violent thoughts in a riot of psychological monologues. Locked in a box with a monster and martyr would argue. Our karma was carving my heart with a sharpened machete of drama. Living in prisons constructed from invisible fear, where the villain and victim were both in the mirror. I stare. Every memory weaponized, every regret was a spear. Every breath was a test just to measure the strength to be here. But the pressure was lessened, disguised as aggressive oppression. The stress was a message suggesting progression, direction. Every fall was installing the code in the soul of a soldier, preparing the moment the broken would finally resurrect. I was trapped in a version of me I outgrew, living life like a cage with invisible screws. Had to break every mirror that lied to my face just to build who I am from the fire and truth. I done died in the dark, then revived in the light. Every scar like a map of the wars that I fight. This ain't luck, this survival, or the price of my words. Watch a man turn his pain to a metamorphosis. Addiction was whispering venomous visions of comfort, convincing me numbness was something resembling a compass, telling me run from the wreckage and bury the evidence. Every escape was a temporary sentence of justice, but every indulgence was edging me closer to ending existence. Suffocating ambition with chemical mental resistance, drowning in doubts in a house full of haunted decisions, where silence was loud and the voice of my conscience was distant. Battling demons that live in the depths of the brain, where logic dissolves in the presence of venomous pain. Where depression sits proud on the throne in the mind, trying to convince you permanently changed. But the truth started creeping through cracks in the dark, like a spark in a cavern of gasoline, so broken hearts. I realized the monsters that lived in my head were shadows that grew every time I would hide from the light. Trapped in a version of me I outgrew, in a life like a cage with invisible screws. Had to break every mirror that lied to my face just to build who I am from the fire and truth. I done died in the dark and revived in the light. Every scar like a map of the wars that I fight. This ain't luck to survive on the price of my growth. Watch a man turn his pain to a metamorphosis. Now I walk with the weight of the wars that I fought in the past, but the armor is wisdom engraved in the scars that I have. Every wound that once weakened the strength of my soul, now a weapon is sharpened the man that I am. See, the pain was a payment demanded for personal power. The hours of cowardice turning to courage with flowers. Roam up in cracks in the concrete of conscience, awakening, breaking the cycle of violence and psychological towers. The caterpillar crawling in dust, never knowing the wings, standing inside of the suffering under the skin. To the appreciable change started bitten the chemistry, turned into pain and the purpose and power within. Now the phoenix is rising from ashes of ashes again, passing the limits, the prison of passion within. Every loss was a lesson embedded in destiny's script. Every death of the don't date birth to a man. I felt the weight of the world on my shoulders, felt like the darkness was slowly taking over. But every night that I thought I was done, built the man that I'm finally becoming. I was lost in the storm of my mind, but the pain of me opened my eyes. Know the fire that once tried to burn me alive is the flame that's lighting my ride. See, the metamorphosis never emerges in comfort. It's forged in the furnace of suffering, stubborn endurance, where courage is nurtured in turbulence, turning a person from nervous and broken to someone determined and certain. I used to be drowning in doubt in the depth of despair. Now the depth of my stare got a message of death to the fear. Every breath that I take is a testament etched in the air that the man in the mirror survived every second he feared. I was buried alive in the lies of the mind would create, but I climbed through the grave with a version of me I would hate. Now a rhythm is written in blood and the anger is humans. symphony built from the ruins of personal pain. So if you see me standing victorious out of the wreckage, just know every second was war in the depths of depression. This ain't rap, this a document written in stars of a man who survived his metamorphosis.